5 signs you're boycotting yourself. What is boycotting oneself? Although an unusual term, it refers to how people hold themselves back from achieving their goals, often unconsciously. The primary sign that you are boycotting yourself is the fact that you almost never achieve what you set out to do. In many of these cases, you are the one putting up obstacles that end up keeping you from moving forward. At one time or another, we have all boycotted ourselves, and have even been aware that we were doing so. However, this is not the norm. It is far more common for us to act against our interests without realizing it. This is done by acting in a way that at first glance appears to be completely reasonable. Similarly, we are only able to justify many of our actions after we have acted. We tend to disguise our true motivation with one that sounds better, one that we derive from the consequences of our behavior. The primary sign that you are boycotting yourself is that with every step you take, you are moving further away from your goals. You ask yourself why, but can't come up with a convincing reason. It seems like there is always something that is holding you back from achieving the goals you have set for yourself. People boycott themselves for several reasons. One is fear of success or because they think they don't deserve it. There are also cases where they do not really identify with the goals they set for themselves, and they unconsciously look for excuses not to achieve them. Whether you think you can or you can't, you're right. Henry Ford. Sign that you are boycotting yourself. 1. You want to do it all yourself. Many individuals think that they cannot trust anyone around them to do certain tasks the way they want them to be done. Others basically do not trust others to do any tasks at all. By not trusting anyone but themselves, they end up taking on responsibilities that don't really belong to them, tasks that they could easily delegate or share. There is an African proverb that says, "Maybe we can go faster alone, but we can go further together." Maybe you're right. There are tasks that no one will be able to do as well as you do. If you don't give them the chance, however, they will never have the opportunity to show you or learn to be able to do it in the future. 2. You think you are always right. This is when you find it impossible to find anything positive to say about a person or their work. You also find it impossible to agree with their views. You might feel like you're always right, because you are. As far as you know, you are always right. In order to see other people's points of view, you will have to break with these fixed thoughts. If you judge everything with prejudice, then you will obviously think that no one else is right. That kind of attitude robs you of the valuable contributions that others can make from other points of view. It will hinder your development because you only see things from one perspective. 3. You leave many tasks unfinished. This is a clear sign that you are boycotting yourself. You probably always found a way to defend why you left so many projects unfinished. It is not difficult to rationalize and justify your tendency to give things up. You want to avoid disagreements and bad feelings, so sometimes the easiest thing to do is to put an end to it. The tendency to leave everything half done will eventually affect your goals. Not only because you haven't achieved this specific goal, but also because all the pending and unfinished work will simply become the norm. You will thus always be tempted to do the same in future projects. 4. You don't accept or appreciate your successes. You may feel that you have no right to success or to be successful. And strangely enough, you are even responsible for distorting the things that make you successful. You do it through your own way of interpreting your successes. When you have achieved something, you undermine it as insignificant, and by doing so, you lose your motivation. It's like you feel like you're the only one capable of achieving things that aren't really valuable or useful. If it was valuable, then you wouldn't have been able to do it. It becomes a vicious circle, You are the perpetrator and the victim at the same time. Such behavior merely satisfies and prompts neurotic impulses. 5. Making oneself a victim is a sign that you are boycotting yourself. Sometimes we prevent our growth. We use the trick of diminishing ourselves and making ourselves victims. How can I possibly do that when I don't have a certain ability or resource? We hide behind our faults and limitations, and refuse to leave our comfort zone. Making oneself a victim is a strategy we use to try to justify doing nothing. The people who feel victimized look for excuses instead of motivation. They don't do this on purpose. It is a totally unconscious act. It's true that sometimes you can get secondary benefits from it, such as a sense of security, and that's why we keep behaving this way. The important thing here is to be aware of any signs that you may be boycotting yourself. They will give you clues as to why you are not getting what you want. Becoming aware of our behavior patterns that harm us in this way can be a good start to a more fulfilling life.